Hey guys, welcome back to Brian's Train Room. You know, when I was just starting to collect, one of the reference books that I really enjoyed going through was this book right here, which was the Archives book by Tom McComas and James Toohey. What was in here was just this magical display of incredible pieces that Lionel made and thought about making in the pages of this book, and I just really enjoyed it. Well, in 2017, the archives were decommissioned and found a number of those pieces found their way into collectors' hands. I have two of those pieces today to show you, and that's coming up.
Did you ever see a boy's eyes light up like a Christmas tree? You will if he gets Lionel trains for Christmas, because only Lionel trains have magnet traction.
The Lionel Archives, a magical place where Lionel kept and cataloged both production and pre-production items from the pre-war, post-war, and even the modern era. As a young collector back in the day, I would scour over reference books like the Volume 5, Lionel, A Collector, Guide, and History, The Archives, by Tom McComas and James Toohey, wondering what else the archives held. The archives were decommissioned and sold in 2017, with the inventory finding their way into collectors' hands. Today, on Brian's Train Room, I'm going to share two such pieces, both engineering models, a lighthouse based on the 394 beacon, and a cab for what appears to be a crane accessory. Shown is the lighthouse. It is made of lightweight wood and measures 4.5 inches at the base and stands 11 inches tall, similar to the beacon. The body of the tower tapers towards the top, where there are two levels surrounded by railings. The railings are crafted out of heavy gauge copper wire and attached to the tower by posts, and the whole structure was painted white. The top dome is painted black and is held up by 4 small wood dowels. The light and socket are from a 394 with the bulb being dimpled. This dates the piece to early 50s. There was no lens when acquired, but I suspect it would have had 2 clear lenses on both sides and worked the same as the 394 once the bulb heated up. I was delighted to see this actual piece displayed twice in the McComas-Toohey book. First on page 6, sitting on the shelf, and secondly highlighted on page 68. It also came with a certificate of authenticity from Stout Auctions, the company tasked with the sale and distribution of the Lionel archives. As with any item of this caliber, always check on these documents and ask a knowledgeable collector to help when considering a purchase. Let's take a closer look and see if it works. So we've taken a close look at the lighthouse here. Again, this is kind of a white or sort of an off-white. It's got the railings on here, and it's got kind of the top of, well, basically a 394, which is the beacon that just is the light with the dimple that spins around. The later version, which is the 494, had the vibrator motor, which this does not have. Okay, so a couple things with this. First of all, this probably had one of these little beacons, very similar to what you see here. Okay, so inside this little box here is the beacon for a 394. Okay, notice how it has the green and it has the red. Most likely this probably had maybe clear so that it would spin around clear. I don't have one of those. I should probably make one. Maybe I will one day, but for today we're just going to do that. So the question is, hey, does this thing still work? It really should. So I've talked to the owner, and the owner says, hey, go right ahead. Let's give it a try. So I've got I'm going to hook this up to the handy dandy transformer. And let's see if we can fire this thing up. And sure enough, she lights up beautifully, as a lighthouse should. Now the cool part is this thing comes off just like that. And then I'm going to see if this fits on here. I believe it should. just like that. And then this should go right over without hitting it. And again, we have it on just like that. And once this heats up, it should spin around just like this. So let's turn the lights off and see if she starts to spin a little bit. Let's give it a try. And of course, after several minutes of letting the bulb heat up and still no movement, which is typical of the 394s, I'm going to give it a little light nudge and see if I can get that to be right. But this is basically what it would do. That would be a really cool lighthouse. The second item is a little bit more of a mystery. Shown is what appears to be a cab for a crane. It measures 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches and is 3.5 inches high. It is actually made from clear plastic with added metal strips riveted to the body and then masked and painted yellow. Then the doors and windows were outlined in black metal stripping, leaving the windows clear. This is an incredibly detailed piece. On the back of the cab, it's marked Lionel. Almost looks to be in pencil, and the sides are also marked Lionel, Power Crane, and the number 616. Now the number would suggest a pre-war piece, but this still feels like a post-war creation. So, what was going to be used for? A whole new updated 182 crane accessory perhaps? While the archives held some incredible items on the shelves, what it didn't have is the story behind each of them. This piece is also shown amazingly in the same photo of the archives on page 6 of the McComas and Toohey book. And it also is shown on page 33 of volume 4 of the same series of reference books by McComas and Toohey. This cab also has a certificate of authenticity from Stout Auctions when documented in 2017. Again, anytime you are looking to purchase an item such as this, proper documentation and provenance is important to have. Asking a knowledgeable collector for help is always advised. Let's take a closer look. All right, so this is the crane. Again, this is sort of the whole thing's constructed out of plastic, and these little strips are added to it and with rivet detail on them, which is really cool. And you can see that from underneath where some of the rivets have gone through, and then some is just the detail. But this is all clear plastic. And then on the outside, it's got some black sort of metal to represent the windows and the doors. This is just absolutely cool. It is decorated. It does have some writing on it. It looks like it's almost in pencil, so I don't want to mess with it. And it has the number 616 on both sides of the cab. This is worn over time, but this says Lionel across the back. No other wording or writing. This is a really neat piece. Now, what was this used for? I don't know, but I think this might have been used as an idea for updating the 182 crane. Okay, so let's see if I can. So here's the crane here. And realistically, if this was to just be on top of here, it's about the right size where they were trying to maybe think of something a little more current to be used for on top of a structure like this. So this sort of makes the most sense. I have no idea, pure speculation. Hey, but you never know. A lighthouse and a topper to a crane. Two incredible pieces from the Lionel archives. All right, that was fun. Appreciate you watching my video. If you like what you see, hey, give me a big thumbs up. If you want to see more, hey, please subscribe. We also have a comment section down below. I want to hear from you. Let me know how I'm doing and how I can make these better. You know, I don't do this alone. I do have a number of friends and fellow collectors who have shared their collections with me to make these fun videos for you guys too. At the end, I've got a nice list of those individuals who've helped me out. I cannot thank them enough. Well, that was it for today. Hey, thanks for joining me on Brian's Train Room.
Lionel Express, all aboard. Look at her streak along the rails. It's a Lionel.